This was the pilot's first week flying in Brazil. The wind at takeoff was very strong, but the pilot was pushing his limits that week because flying in strong winds is considered normal here in Patu. He's chasing a few pilots who have thermaled over the back. Let's watch what happens and then we'll analyze what went wrong, so you can apply the lessons in your own flying decisions.
Wydawało mi się, że byłem wystarczająco wysoko, ale chyba tylko mi się wydawało. Spieprzamy stąd, tyle. Tylko mi się wydawało. Za nisko byłem. Była silnika. O kurwa, ale zawiesz. Spieszamy. Ojejku. Ale żeby tylko nie utopić. Wody. Se zapudowałem lądowanie.
What do you think went wrong here? Leave a comment and join the discussion below the video. By the way, this is what the takeoff looked like. He's flying backwards, even on full speed bar, on an E&D wing. But he managed to crab away to the side and continued his flight. This is known as gale hanging, where you're just hanging around above the ridge waiting for a very strong thermal to get you up and away. Eventually he caught a thermal and climbed up the mountain. But this is low when compared to the other pilots. And in such strong wind, this is too committing. Because when the thermal is lost, you cannot escape the rotor area behind the hill. You need at least double the height of the hill to be sure of clearing the danger zone. So the pilot found himself in trashy air. Any obstacle in the wind will create mechanical turbulence. Downwind of the obstacle, it's the same area that's disturbed, and as the wind speed increases, this area gets more violent and more disturbed. The back edge of the ridge will create these rotor rolls, and you're trying to aim yourself to get at least enough height so that you can get over to the bounce line, where the airflow returns and starts going up again. So let's have a look at that wing control and see if we can learn anything from his flying inputs. So right now he is 800 meters above sea level, 600 meters above the ground, and he's just holding on to the fading remnants of the thermal. So now he's setting off on glide downwind, and he's already starting to get a little bit of turbulent airflow. The aim here is to just get downwind as far as possible to try and clear that rotor zone. He's doing inputs left and right, but I think it's pretty good in inputs. He's not overcorrecting, and he's just trying to keep his direction and put in short inputs and let the glider fly, so he's keeping his airspeed nice and high. By pulling the brakes as he's going into the turbulence, he's able to increase the angle of attack and grab hold of the air, keep the nose of the glider open. He's doing very effective brake blocking here. You see his sink rate starting to increase now, and the glider's really starting to kick. And there goes the stabilo line. That's because he had snapped the line a few days earlier. And being on his own without repair supplies, he just tied a knot in the line to rejoin it. This shortened the line, making it more heavily loaded. And any knots reduced the line strength by at least 50%. The better way to do this would be to travel with a roll of Kevlar line, which you can cut and splice to make a new line. Having a broken stabilo doesn't seem to affect the wing very much, but it probably affects your mindset more. You've got a broken wing, and you're in a bad place. But as you get more and more turbulence and the sink gets more and more severe, he's starting to put on a little bit harder brake inputs, a bit more panicked. And there the glider was stalling. There it's stalled again briefly. He's using a bit too much brake. When the glider's behind you, don't put on brake. Wait for it to start shooting overhead, and that's when you slow it down. In this position here, it's too much brake there, and you've stalled the right wing. Stalled, it's released. So a little bit less brake, but in general, this glider is behaving very well, and you're keeping a direction very well. You're trying to aim out for the horizon and get away from the rotor zone. So this is all good. Very good input so far. You've got your legs splayed out in the harness a bit, and I know in that harness it does reduce your contact quite a lot. Probably better to just push yourself back in the harness. I can see your shoulder straps come off. So you've lost a lot of sort of contact and feeling and security. You've got the wing nicely controlled in the direction out away, and you fly into a thermal here. This is a missed opportunity. In these little thermals that you get, small, punchy, broken thermals in the lee, you want to really crank it around. And it may be because the stabilo line is broken, you're not putting in a right turn there. But you're flying through the thermal, out the other side, and very quickly it goes from 2 down to 4 down to 6 down to 8 down to 10 down. This is a disastrous area of sink. So I think hooking into that thermal would have helped you escape, at least get you over the road into the safer air. But that's put you in a position now where you've really committed yourself to a long downwind approach into a box field, and then you stall the wing there, which is a typical kind of response when you're coming in for a downwind landing and you're trying to slow your ground speed down, but you're going below your air speed that you need for us to keep it away from stall. That's a normal response when you land downwind and the ground is coming up quickly. Be very careful of that. Keep the air speed up, even though it means that you're going really, really fast, because then you can at least give it a little bit of a round out on the flare and soften the impact as you touch down. But if you stall it, you're landing with a very hard vertical descent as well as your horizontal. The other thing that's caught you out of it on the landing is your speed that you see as you're going over the lake. The ground speed is a 2-dimensional speed on your GPS. So it actually tricks you because you are also dropping out of the sky. If you're in very big sink, that sink has to spread out when it hits the ground. It can't go through the ground. So that speed, your vertical speed, is going to get added to your horizontal speed. As you get down at the bottom piece, you're going to accelerate. So it makes it that much more important to turn into wind to do your landing. You don't want to land downwind in heavy sink because it's going to have that acceleration wash. Make sure you just turn yourself around in the last 100 meters, angle yourself the other direction so that you're landing at least without that horizontal speed. You might still land hard vertically, but at least you've cut down the horizontal speed. Because that landing was very lucky that you managed to just slide and have a small injury and tear up your harness a bit, trash your camera and your instruments. But if there'd been any obstacle at 60, 70 kilometers an hour with 3 meters a second down, it would have broken you. So remove that risk by always landing into wind in those sort of situations. So the learning lessons from this one: don't fly when the wind's that strong. It just leads to problems all the way around your course. And if you're going to go over a mountain, you need to gain more height to clear that danger zone, which means you need to be aiming to push yourself further forward of the ridge so that you can pick up a thermal that's triggering in front of the hill and not the weaker one that is stuck on the hill, because that one won't push you enough over that rotor area. You need to just be patient and push out and out and out until you find a 4 meters a second strike that can clear you over the hill. Yeah, I hope that helps everyone be safer in flying. If you want to learn more, in the extended edition on my website, we go into the decision making and dealing with the stress, along with many other videos that will build your skills in cross-country flying so that you're prepared for every situation. So come on over and become a safer pilot. There's also a free wing control mini course that I've put together just for my YouTube subscribers, which you can get using the link also below the video. If you've got an exciting video clip of your own that you'd like me to analyze, send it to me and we can all learn from your experience. If you enjoyed this video, tap that like button and subscribe so that you get to know about the next video in the series. And you can join my free newsletter using the email list to stay in touch with me. Thanks for watching and safe flying. Right, now you want to prepare yourself properly with the 5 essential safety rules in the next video.